Gen Z women are speaking out about a new condition they suffer from that I was unfamiliar with called facial dysmorphia. It's like body dysmorphic disorder, except about your facial features. And these Gen Z women, especially on platforms like TikTok, say that they have no concept of what they actually look like. They have lost all sense of self and all sense of self-image and self-worth because of the prevalence of front-facing cameras on Zoom, on smartphones, on social media. It's almost unavoidable, and it has completely destroyed their psyches.
Wonder if it's like facial agnosia.
What is
which
that?
is like the I know somebody who has it. It's the inability to recognize faces.
It's like that, but it's about you. That's what it is. It's like the inability to recognize oneself in a photo or in the mirror or in a video.
Yep.
So that's what they seem to be describing. It's not mere self-hatred. It's not that they look in the mirror and dislike things that they see. It goes beyond that to the point where they have no idea what they really look like. It's kind of a form of like psychosis or also narcissism. But The Cut recently published an in-depth piece about this, interviewing different Gen Z influencers who claim that they suffer from this condition, saying, my facial dysmorphia destroyed my ability to be free. For these women, staring at their own faces online has made them unrecognizable to themselves. Nika Moti says she cannot go a day without obsessively photographing herself. The 20-year-old has over 50,000 selfies in her camera roll. She says, I take them throughout the day, like almost every hour. I'm trying to analyze how others see me so I know what they think I look like. It's an exhausting cycle, but it feels like the only way for me to understand or control how I look to others. This is where it veers into narcissism and not just a normal amount of insecurity that people have. Because you're trying to exercise control over other people and their thoughts. Mm-hmm. And you, in a way, do not believe that the people around you have their own interior lives because you believe, in a very strong sense, that they're all thinking about you.
Yeah, there's a reaction that I'm sure normal people have. Like if you see women on Instagram that take selfies or videos of themselves in the mirror and it's not like a skit, it doesn't serve a purpose. It's literally just like I'm observing myself, that you kind of recoil at it. There's a deeply narcissistic nature to it beyond just typically taking a photo of yourself, but hey, look at me, this is what I look like. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nika says that she used to be confident in her appearance during her middle school years until she began building a presence on social media. She says, I started seeing videos of pretty girls who would go viral and everyone in the comments talking about how perfect they looked. Naturally, I just started comparing myself to all these videos and images online. My face structure just felt so different. That's what made me question whether I was truly pretty. She once had, she says that her confidence completely disappeared. She says that now her face is all she ever thinks about. And now it's gotten to the point where she doesn't socialize. She avoids social situations. Whenever I'm invited to go to plans, my first thought is, what do I look like today? And I then often make a last-minute decision based on whether I think I look good enough to be seen by others. She's canceled more plans than she has attended.
That's worse than like when you're somebody who is like using drugs and you make plans when you're in a good mood and then you get sober and then suddenly the plans are here and you're like, damn, I don't want to go.
But that's what you shouldn't lean into.
Yes.
That's when you should actually fight that like instinct inside of you and you will be happy that you did. And even if you're not, it just takes time, like repeated exposure therapy. And I've said that before. She now says she has been medicated for depression and anxiety, and in fact even admitted that when her symptoms or triggers for her facial dysmorphia strengthen, she ups her dosage on these SSRI medications,
I don't
whatever
think
she's
that's how
taking.
that works.
I don't either, but here she is in this article saying that this is the way she copes with it.
So she's taking like a long-term medication in an acute manner. That
Yes.
doesn't work.
They have an interview with one expert on body dysmorphia. They say, when considering if someone is suffering from BDD, we usually ask, is the person thinking about perceived flaws for at least an hour a day? And do the concerns cause significant emotional distress or impairment in day-to-day functioning? They interviewed another alleged sufferer of this condition, Daisy Wilson, who is 19. She posts openly on TikTok to her followers about her struggles with facial dysmorphia. The term has been gaining traction on social media, and it describes the experience of having a warped perception of one's own face. I want to show a couple of these examples from TikTokers talking about having this condition, which I assume is self-diagnosed. And their comment sections are full of people completely relating.
Okay, here we go.
Facial dysmorphia, and as you can imagine, it's extremely difficult to deal with as a beauty creator. Try and steer away from showing myself doing my eyebrows or even doing eyeshadow and eye looks, just because I truly cannot stand that part of my face, because I just don't feel like I look like in my head, but I look like how I see, if that makes sense. I end up not using a lot of material that I film because I can't, after rewatching
Well,
it,
I mean, that's pretty par for the course when it comes to making movies and stuff. You know, for every hour, you get like a minute of footage.
Well, yeah.
I just quite literally cannot stand the way I look. This has been an ongoing issue since I think I was 11 or maybe 10, around that age, when I first started really not liking my face, because my face is asymmetrical.
Okay, first of all, most people's faces are asymmetrical.
Everyone's.
Second of all, like there's literally the trope is like the reason why actors are as attractive as they are is because they fall like firmly into the golden ratio.
Sure,
like
yeah.
they're objectively more symmetrical than your average person.
That's why they have celebrity lookalikes.
Correct. Also, I can't imagine, maybe hers is only related to her face, but how does somebody who's so anal about their appearance get a tattoo at all? Like, how does any person who...
Or be an influencer.
Yes.
You know, but those things go hand in hand, right? You're constantly thinking of ways to project yourself or change yourself.
That's where the problem stems from. When I first realized it, I started actively like hating the way I looked, especially because the way other people see me is different than how I see myself in the mirror. It's really hard for me to deal with, honestly. Like, if you are dealing with something similar, I'm sure you know exactly how I feel. It's really tough to find yourself beautiful. It's really tough I hate taking pictures, hate being in videos, because I can't really stand when other people are taking video or picture of me, because like I know.
Okay, so it's about control. Mm-hmm. So she's objectively making a video while she's putting her makeup on.
Yes.
So it's not about that.
Yeah.
It's about control over what gets put out. Now, what you might actually learn is that things were like, there's a reason why society feels so sick now, which was like back in the day, you took a photo on a film camera or a disposable, and then you waited however many days to get those pictures developed. And there was something innately beautiful about the lack of pretense.
And that in a lot of cases,
photos.
you only had one take.
Yes.
And it just was what it was. And maybe it wasn't the best.
The crazy thing was, like, so this was something we did in skating. Like, when we would go do dangerous skating tricks and shoot photos, and you just hope that the photo came out.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you worked with people that knew what they were doing, and more often than not they did. But there were times when you would do tricks that could legitimately hurt you if you didn't land it, and then you waited like a week to find out whether the photo actually came out the right way. And then when digital became a thing, you never had to do that anymore. You could take your pick. You could try it. You could land it as many times as you want until you got the exact right one that you wanted. And that's even less vain, in my opinion, because of the risk than the idea of just finding the right selfie.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Her comment section is full of people relating.
Like, she's objectively, like, I'm kind of fascinated by it, because she's not putting herself out there in a bunch of makeup here in like the best dress or the most flattering
head
clothes.
in a towel, no makeup. She's doing her skincare routine. She's not dressed up or anything. There's no flattering like angle or whatever that she's chosen. But because it's, under her control, as you said, that's why it's okay. One person said, "This is why I cry every night." Wow, the way you just explained exactly how I feel about pictures. It doesn't look like me. What do I look like? This is me. Hate when I see myself in pictures. I see only ugly.
I mean, look, there's
This is
things,
all
there are
young women.
things, there are things about my appearance that I wish I could change. Like, absolutely. Like, for
And
sure.
it goes for
get
almost
it.
anybody.
I get it. Like, do I wish I could look a little bit different? Sure. But, like, the internet really was the death knell for young women, and I do feel like they never stood a chance.
We have another video from a TikToker who is actually wearing a face filter
Okay, so
while
obviously
recording
body
herself talking about her facial dysmorphia. She's wearing a face filter.
dysmorphia is a real thing, but why is no one talking about face dysmorphia? I know I'm not talking about the inverted filter thing. I obviously see myself in the mirror every day, and I'm like, yep, okay, I think I know what I look like. That looks like me. And then let's say I'm out with a friend and she takes 20 photos of me. Most of them I'll be like, yep, okay, that's what I think I look like. And then there will be like 5 where I'm like, hold on, that is a different person. That doesn't look anything like me. Like that's different than what I see in the mirror every day. And then there will be 3 more where I'm like, that's also a different person. Like that doesn't look like me either. So which one do I look like? And she's like, dude, what are you talking about? Those all look the same. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like you're telling me that all 3 of these people you think look the same, look like me. Meanwhile, 2 of them I feel like I've never seen in my entire life. And now to this day, I have always been confused about like what I actually look like. I'm genuinely like, I'm not sure what I look like. Okay,
There's
so
a comment that said, how do I fix it? I'm always obsessing over my looks every single day. They're living in hell because they choose to live in hell.
It's a extreme form of narcissism that they can't help. It's not narcissism in the
They can
sense
help.
that they're. I'm saying that they can't.
They could.
They could get help. They could fix it if they found a way. But I'm saying that they've fallen into this pattern, and I don't mean that in a malicious way. I'm saying that they have a deeply narcissistic interest in their own image that they don't know how to control.
Right. And it's almost like they didn't know anything different because people my age have had the front-facing camera in a smartphone since, well, yeah, like 15 years ago.
People were happier before they looked at themselves that much every day.
There are other terms like Zoom dysmorphia because people using Zoom for work or school, and Snapchat dysmorphia as well. From a distorted self-image people develop after staring too long in the front camera. They scrutinize their perceived flaws. And you might think that the solution for them could be, well, if you point out your insecurities, you can just change them, right? Just go get work done, and then you won't have these hyperfixations anymore. But the problem is that once they get those surgeries or those cosmetic procedures done, the hyperfixation just moves to something else. And it moves on to something else.
I mean, that's
and
the
the cycle
human,
continues until you look like Madonna.
It's the human condition that, like, whatever is consuming your life that you need to fix, you fix, and then it moves on to something else. I've experienced that in my life, and like that's why it's one of the reasons why I laugh when people say that celebrities don't have any worries. I was like, yes, they have money, but they have they're just going to find something else to be upset about. It's human nature to find something else to worry about.
This was the, I think, worst part of the cut piece. They say some facial dysmorphia sufferers have turned to cosmetic procedures in an effort to help cope. About a decade ago, one of them decided to get a rhinoplasty and filler in her jawline. She says, getting cosmetic surgery to keep my facial dysmorphia under control has gotten me in a fair amount of credit card debt. But I've thought to myself, even if I end up being poor, I don't care. I just want to look good and feel good about myself.
It's really heartbreaking.
She is in credit card debt to a doctor to take a scalpel to her nose over and over and over again and then fix the mistake from last time. And this is just going to follow you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Any plastic surgeon who's not a sociopath will say no more often than they say yes. In fact, one of them says in this article, she has had to say no to more patients than yes, stressing that these surgeries are not a cure for facial dysmorphia or for screen time. She says, I find that the more chronically online people are, the more they focus on unattainable or difficult to attain features, such as glass skin, perfect facial symmetry, or lifting that can only be achieved through surgery, it's difficult to tell what is realistically possible when filters and photoshopping are the norm. So she has people coming into her office as a plastic surgeon showing her examples of what they want, which are not real. And she, if she were less honest, would probably tell them that she can achieve that, and they end up botched. But
how did this start? When people would say, this is a celebrity haircut I want, and then they try to give it to you and it doesn't work?
I mean, I guess, yeah, if it's like a fake, if it's a wig or like extension.
I mean, sometimes you might have hair that doesn't agree with that. Like sometimes that person's hair is just thicker, or that person's hair is this or that.
Nika says insecurities around her face still weigh heavily. To this day, social media makes it hard for me to feel comfortable in my own skin. Thank you.
Thank you. Look, the internet is not the place to be if you can't handle it, right?
Yeah, but ironically, almost all of the women that they're interviewing are professional influencers who put their faces out there on video and picture for like hundreds of thousands of people to see.
People in the chat always point out how close together my eyes are. I'm actually gonna have surgery to have them pushed farther apart.
I don't know if that exists.
It's gonna be eye separator surgery.
Maybe they can like splice together your DNA with Anya Taylor-Joy's
it'll
DNA.
end up somewhere in the middle.
And yeah, make some kind of mutant of both of you.
I actually think what it is more that my face filled out more, and it's just wide. It's literally just wider. Like if you look at older images when my face was thinner, it just wasn't like that. So, but the thing is, like, there's things that you just have to accept about yourself. There's things you can change. Like if you're somebody who's like, look, I wish I didn't weigh as much, you can diet, you can put in a lot of work to lose weight. But if it's about stuff that you can't change without surgery, like we're talking nose job or chin or something like that, you know, learning, it's so weird. There was a time when the message in Hollywood would have been about accepting yourself. It would have been hypocritical, but it would have been the message. There was an episode of Bones back in like 2005 where they can't identify this woman. Like she can't even identify this woman because she's had so much plastic surgery that they can't recreate her face. And the whole episode is basically eschewing plastic surgery as barbaric. And the irony being that it's an industry full of people. It's being made by an industry full of people that love plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Fine. The message is still good. But now it's like they don't even try to go with the "you're beautiful just the way you are" message.
Well, what is the message now?
I don't know if there is. I guess because everything's so decentralized now.
No, the message went from "you're beautiful no matter what" to "beauty doesn't exist."
Yeah.
It's more nihilistic now.
Yeah.
The claim is literally that beauty in an objective sense doesn't exist. Therefore, you don't need to struggle to attain it. They legitimately think beauty is a social construct or some kind of mimetic invention of humanity.
It's white Western idea of what beauty is.
Yeah, and the hard truth is beauty is hardwired into the human brain. It is objective. It's real. And there's no way around that. There's no way around the genetics you're born with either. But what you can control is how you react to it, how you interact with other people and yourself. And I think the most egregious example that is listed in this article is people who prevent themselves from interacting and going out to social gatherings because they're worried about how they look to anyone there. If that's what you're doing, like basically your life isn't worth living at that point, and that's your choice. That's
sad.
So, I mean, I think that they need to stop telling themselves positive affirmations in the mirror every day, telling themselves you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful. You're never going to believe a mantra like that. Like if you just tell yourself, I just have to tell myself like every day that I'm pretty and then maybe one day I'll believe it. No. What you have to do is something else that's worthwhile with your time, with your life. Yeah. And then you'll actually have self-worth.
For guys, either learn to be funny or get successful at something.
It's for girls, it's about relationships. Yeah. It's about pouring yourself into other people.
Yeah. For guys, it's either have a really, really good sense of humor or get really, really good at something, and people are always going to look up to people who have mastered skills or, you know, are one of the best in their field, something like that. That's like, men can avoid that by...
Well, for the young men, on the other hand, they have the looks maxing trends. Mogwarts, all of that.
Yep.
It has like more of a tongue-in-cheek vibe to it, but you can see this is plaguing both young men, and young women.
I wasn't saying men should become funny for themselves, because yes, I know that many comedians are miserable. I'm saying no, women will love you if you're funny.
That is true.
That's not a joke, actually. That actually is true.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.